Good morning, afternoon, evening, ESOMAR. It is a pleasure to be speaking with you all today. My name is Sarah Adkins, and I am the Vice President of Quality and Research here at InnovateMR. I work closely with all of our internal teams to ensure that our award-winning data quality methods and technologies constantly evolve against new fraud tactics. I have nearly 25 years of experience, been that long, in the market research industry, specializing in quantitative research, strategic planning, operations management, data analytics, and data storytelling. I am truly passionate about data and understand firsthand the lengths fraudsters will go to circumvent the system. In fact, there's a stat I learned when I first started this role, and it blew my mind. By 2025, cyber fraud damages are expected to be around $10.5 trillion. That is the equivalent of the world's third largest economy. Crazy, right? With data quality at the center of industry conversations, and given my extensive research background, today I want to talk to you about how the design of your survey can greatly impact the quality of data you end up with. I'll touch on my top 5 tips that we as an industry can keep in mind when designing a survey that will help to fight fraud, improve the participant experience, and increase data quality. One of the first and most important things researchers can do to improve the participant experience and data quality is to be wary of the LOI, or length of interview. How many times have you attended a meeting that went way too long so your mind starts to drift to all the other things you have to get done? Or maybe it's your significant other's night to choose what TV show to watch. They prefer a thriller while you prefer a good dose of the Housewives franchise. Not that I would want to. If something isn't keeping our attention, our minds wander. People nowadays have the attention span of a goldfish. That means you have 8 seconds to capture their attention and keep them engaged. If you don't keep a participant engaged, they get bored. And when participants get bored trying to complete a long survey, they begin to skim answers and will no longer put a great deal of thought into their responses. And who can blame them? This is important because it will show up in your data and flag quality concerns. The next thing you want to do as a researcher to protect data quality is to make sure your survey is mobile friendly. In a world where our phones are used for nearly everything, you need to ensure your survey is compatible with mobile devices to enhance the user experience. The more accessible your survey is to take, the more participants are able to take it. What do you do when a site takes too long to load or doesn't translate well from a computer to your phone? If you're like me, you exit out of it. And we don't want that. Having extensive grids, heavy text, or too many open-ended questions can affect your quality. Now, not every survey is meant to be taken on a phone. I get that. But for those surveys that can be done on a mobile device, design is key. If a participant has to do a lot of scrolling, it will most certainly lead to disengagement because it's a frustrating experience to constantly have to scroll through a survey that is just way too long. Additionally, if your survey is limited to the desktop, you are missing out on important audiences who may not have access to a computer but do have a mobile phone. Think our Gen Z audience. So my third recommendation for increasing data quality is to utilize open-ended questions. I love open-ended questions, and they are a surefire way to eliminate fraudsters trying to infiltrate your survey. In fact, in our Senior VP of Global Supply, Sandy Casey's recent ESOMAR presentation interviewing a real fraudster, we heard them say that open ends made surveys more complicated. This fraudster had to stop his bot and manually enter in the answer himself if he wanted to continue the survey.
What quality checks do you try to avoid?
Open-ended answers, mathematical questions, things like that, logical questions. I make the bot stop and then I make the open-ended by myself.
Additionally, open-ended questions provide so much insight into your target audience. Your audience can get their opinion out there, influence the companies they engage with most, and that makes them feel that their voice is being heard. However, be mindful of the number of open-ended questions you ask. Like I stated previously, it could cause your respondent to become disengaged if they are overburdened with a lot of questions that require long answers. You don't want 6 open-ended questions in a 10-minute survey, especially ones that ask the respondent why they feel a certain way and require a lot of elaboration. So keep these 3 things in mind when it comes to open ends. Know what you are asking, how you are asking it, and where in the survey you're putting it. Next up are red herring questions. They're a great way to reduce fraud and increase your data quality. Something a colleague said recently regarding red herrings stuck with me. He said they should be treated as an attention check, not comprehension check. On one hand, I think they're a useful tool in a researcher's toolbox. They can help bring a participant's attention back to a survey when they may have started to drift off or lose interest. But if they're too difficult, let's say they're written for a B2B audience when you're interviewing consumers, or they have response choice lists that are too long, you could be doing yourself a disservice and getting rid of good participants that were simply casualty of your poorly written question. When I think about the reasons that red herrings can be useful or a roadblock, it comes down to design, just like everything in the research world. Unless you are surveying a very niche audience, keep your red herring simple. Don't overdo it. One red herring is typically sufficient, but the number you choose should be dictated by how long your survey is and what other quality measures you have in place. So the last topic, to me, is the most obvious one, but it tends to get overlooked. So last but certainly not least, a great way to fight fraud, improve participant experience, and increase data quality is to effectively target the right audience. The right targeting is probably the most important thing when it comes to fielding a survey because it provides the most accurate insights. We need to be speaking to the right folks. For example, if I'm conducting an IT decision maker survey, I probably shouldn't be targeting general consumers, an 18-year-old, or someone that isn't in the workforce. They clearly don't fit the bill and won't provide the insight I need to make an informed decision about the future of my business. Basic example, but you get the idea. So to recap, today we discussed 5 ways we as an industry can work together to fight fraud, improve participant experience, and improve data quality through survey design. We have to be conscious of the length of the interview. Make sure our surveys are mobile friendly. Ask an appropriate amount of open-ended questions. Utilize red herrings when needed. And most importantly, target the right audience. ESOMAR, it was a pleasure speaking with you all today, and I hope you were able to take some of my insights for your own market research toolkit.